Oh my God, hi. This is Devin from Disney Adult, a podcast brought to you by the Trident Network. On Disney Adult, we bring together Chicago comedians to watch and discuss Disney movies from the perspective of adults. In these movies, there are things we love, things we hate, things that maybe haven't aged so well, and things that are timeless. The Trident Network's wonderful podcasts, including Disney Adult, can be found anywhere you get your podcasts. Subscribe today.
You can't tell anyone about this phone. It's a total invasion of privacy. I've been thinking about it all night, and we've got to give the phone back.
You really are impossible. Oh, Natasha, nothing ever happens to me. Oh, Natasha, my life is so boring. Oh, Natasha.
Do I really say, oh, Natasha, that often?
The point. Excitement has fallen into your lap, and you want nothing to do with it.
Go off, Brenda Song. Hey, Val.
Hey, Al. Hey, Mad.
Hi, Val and Al.
Welcome to D-Commentaries.
Thank you. Welcome to you. Welcome to our listeners, and welcome to our special guest, Madeleine. Mad, welcome.
Yay!
And introduce yourself.
Oh, where to start? It was a cloudy night. I'm Madeleine. I am affiliated through Val. We did improv together in Chicago, but then I got to be too big for Chicago. Just kidding.
True. No, she outgrew us.
I moved to LA for a man, something I never thought I'd do. And here we are. So,
yep. And now you have a beautiful baby and a beautiful house and beautiful dogs.
I'm just living the suburban dream.
Hey, a good statement for our movie this week.
Woo! Perfect.
Matt, I think I might have missed it. What do you do for work?
I am a forensic psychologist. So,
but
not in the like serial killer profiling way. I do competency restoration work. So it's not as exciting as the profiling stuff. But basically, when people are found incompetent to stand trial, I direct a program that restores them. So write a lot of reports.
Wow. That's really cool.
I like it. There's never a dull moment.
That's one of those jobs where it's like, I don't know what I want to do in college. And there's like so many branches of that you don't realize are like a job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you're like, I want to be in English. And you're like, but what are all the jobs in English? You know, I want to be in psychology. What are all the jobs in psychology? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Got some good stories over the years. That's for sure.
All right, well, let's dive into the business, and I will walk us through that quick, and then we'll get into the fun stuff.
Perfect.
So if we hadn't already said it specifically, we are watching Stuck in the Suburbs this week.
Watching it and living it.
And living it, yep. Stuck in the Suburbs came out July 16th, 2004, so this was their summer blockbuster, and boy, was it.
I would say.
Yeah. Stuck in the Suburbs was directed by Savage Steve Holland. Savage is a nickname, but it's literally what it says on IMDb, so I'm saying it.
Cool.
So he directed early in his career, his first two movies were Better Off Dead and One Crazy Summer, which were both John Cusack vehicles. Other than that, he's mostly been a TV or TV movie director. Like he's done episodes of Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I presume that's probably how he ended up directing this movie, is doing those shows.
Yeah.
And then there's a 3-writer team. So we have Wendy and Amy Engelberg, who had identical resumes. I don't know if they're like twin sisters or partners or what, but they are TV writers primarily. They wrote for the Clueless television show, for Lizzie McGuire, Drop Dead Diva, and more recently Fuller House.
Cool.
And then Dan Berenson, who we've seen a ton and we will see a ton more of. He wrote Up, Up and Away, Scream Team, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, Halloween Town High, Twitches 2, Cheetah Girls, One World, the Hannah Montana movie, a bunch of the movie Wizards of Waverly Place, Camp Rock 2, and a bunch of episodes of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Okay.
So the cast is pretty big. So I'll try and be as quick as I can. Danielle Panabaker played Brittany Aarons. She will also be in Sky High in a future DCOM. She was also on a show called Shark, which I'd never heard of, but she was in like, I don't know, 20 episodes. She's done a couple of Hallmark movies, but her big thing is that she's been on like every episode of The Flash, like the DC television show. So she's, you know, got it made in the shade over in the DC television universe. Brenda Song played Natasha Kwan Schwartz, my half Jewish sister.
Mm-hmm.
She was also in The Ultimate Christmas Present and Get a Clue. And she has done a bunch of, yes, Al is raising her hand.
I'm raising my hand to interrupt because Sky High is not a DCOM.
Oh, really?
It is not a traditional DCOM because it premiered in theaters.
Oh, fun. I didn't know that.
You mentioned that and I was like, I gotta detective work this.
You know what we should do then? We should do Sky High as like a Patreon
let's do that.
or something. Yeah. We'll still talk about it.
Cool. Because it is good and it's got a lot of currently famous people in it.
Great. All the more reason. Excellent. Thank you for that fact check, Al.
You're welcome. Sorry to interrupt Brenda Song. Continue.
No problem. Brenda Song, in addition to being in Ultimate Christmas Present and Get a Clue,
she's doing just fine.
She's doing just fine. She's also in Phil of the Future. She's in Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior, which we haven't gotten to yet. She was also in a bunch of episodes, or she was one of the leads on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. And she recently had a stint on Station 19. I don't know if I haven't actually looked to see if she's been anything more recent than that, but that was like her most recent thing that I saw.
Cool.
In.
Cocky just TV, or like, because wasn't she in movies too?
She was in The Social Network.
Okay, that's.
Oh yeah, she was in The Social Network. That's right. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
A great movie. Then we have Taran Killam as Jordan Cahill, our rock star. If you don't know Taran Killam, he's definitely best known for being on Saturday Night Live. He does great impressions. He's very funny. But before that, he was in Big Fat Liar. He was on The Amanda Show. He was on a show called Just Married for a while. He was also in the Oscar-winning movie 12 Years a Slave.
What?
Yep. One of these things is not like the other.
He's got range.
He's got range.
He does. He was in a show called The Awesomes, which I think was a cartoon. He's on a show called Single Parents, which might still be on. I'm not sure. He was in another cartoon called Nature Cat. He was on The American Crime Story, the Monica Lewinsky season. And he now hosts a sports show called the NFL Pile On.
Interesting. He's also married to Kobe Smulders.
He is also married to Kobe Smulders. Kobe Smulders of How I Met Your Mother fame. And what I realized in watching this movie is that both of them have played teen pop stars in a very like tongue-in-cheek situation, which is very fun.
That is true.
Yep.
Robin Sparkles.
Robin Sparkles. Okay, Ryan Belleville played Eddie, who was Jordan's best friend / manager, assistant. I don't know what his job was. He held his phone.
Clear.
He is definitely Canadian. He was in a show called Life on a Stick. He was in an episode of Murdoch Mysteries, which Al and I love. He was in something called Winston Steinberger and Sir Dudley Ding Dong. And more recently, he was in a show called Working Moms.
He's so cute in this movie.
Oh, interesting. He has pretty eyes.
He's like so cute.
He has pretty eyes. I was like, I literally wrote a note at one point. I was like, is Taran Killam hot?
When the haircut comes, he is.
Yep. When they cut off his hair and you can just see his eyes, he has really pretty eyes.
Yeah.
We've had 2 consecutive movies with really pretty-eyed men.
Pretty-eyed man, you've got some pretty eyes, man.
Then we have her pals. So Amanda Shaw played Kaylee. She's also going to be in Now You See It, another DCOM.
Okay.
The other two haven't done much. Cece Hedgepeth played Ashley. She stopped acting in 2008. Jenny Garland played Olivia, and she stopped in 2010. Then we have Todd Stashwick as Len, the producer.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like a character actor. He's literally been in one episode of everything.
Yeah.
But some of the ones where he's been on more episodes, he's been on The Riches for several episodes, Heroes, 12 Monkeys. He was in the Kim Possible movie, like the live action one.
Oh.
And more recently, he was in The Way Back, the Ben Affleck flick.
Oh.
Where he's a basketball coach.
Oh. Okay.
And this is a person who, like, in this movie, he's just looks like a middle-aged guy. But if you look at his pictures now, holy smokes, he turned into a zaddy.
You're like a Neville Longbottom.
Yeah, the old Neville Longbottom.
He really did. He totally Neville Longbottom. Like, his headshot on IMDb is like so hot. And I was like,
this is your sign to go check his Instagram out.
Do you need a minute, Val?
yeah, I need to cool down. I need a towel. Kirsten Nelson played Susan Aarons, so that's Brittany's mom. She was in The Fugitive way back in the day with Harrison Ford. Fugitive, famously set in Chicago. Her main gig was that she was on Psych.
Oh.
I don't know what character she played on Psych, but she was on Psych for the entire duration. I'd seen like one episode of Psych ever. And then she's just a character actor. She's been in, lots of one-off things. And then Corey English played Jessie, who is the older sister of Brittany. She does a ton of voiceover work for video games.
Cool.
So she's been a voice in Skyrim, Star Wars, The Old Republic, Final Fantasy, Mass Effect, like a lot of big games. So that's her primary gig. Yeah. And then Patrick Stogner played the younger brother Cooper. And he has a weird resume. He didn't do a whole lot, but then he stopped acting in 2012, but then he has one credit in 2021.
Wow.
So I don't know if he's just returned to acting all of a sudden or what's going on, but very interesting resume.
I followed him on Instagram. He's got 600 followers, and we are one of them.
Great. Hello, Patrick. Okay, the synopsis is as follows. And Matt, in case you don't know, I don't read these before. I just copy them and paste them. So it's always a fun surprise.
Oh boy.
14-year-old Brittany Aarons and her friends are bored with their suburban lives until America's national icon, Jordan Cahill, a new pop singing, dancing sensation, arrives in town and his personal digital assistant, PDA, falls into the wrong hands.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, sure.
Assistant. I love that they spelled it out.
PDA.
I don't know if anyone knows what that even, what PDA stands for, but that's funny.
Public displays of affection.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course. And then a fun fact about this movie, which I confirmed on Spotify, is that these songs are credited to Jordan Cahill.
Yep.
Taran Killam sings these songs for real, but he doesn't have credit for them.
So it's basically like the plot of the movie in real life. Poor Taran just wants to be himself, but he has to be Cahill, and he's not getting the royalties.
Wow, talk about a metaphor.
It's the original Hannah Montana.
It's the original Hannah Montana. Oh my God. I thought that was so funny when I actually saw Jordan Cahill as the artist on all of these songs. I was like, this is a person who doesn't exist. How could this be possible? I wonder if Taran still gets the royalties or whatever.
The songs are listened to. I hope he gets royalties.
I mean, me too.
I thought I read something that this was the first DCOM that had an official soundtrack.
It did. Yeah, it did.
And baby, is it good?
Oh, yeah.
It features some artists that you recognize.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
Yeah. A little local tip. The whole really stupid reason I requested this movie is because it was shot in New Orleans And the school scenes were shot at my high school.
What?
Oh my gosh!
And Amanda Shaw, I didn't actually know this, but when I forced my husband to watch this with me, he pointed out she's apparently a really famous local fiddler.
What?
Fiddler, right? Fiddler.
Fiddlist.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wait,
Fiddler
what?
sounds less appropriate.
That's amazing.
That's so cool. Wow, that's amazing.
Well, that answers our question of, how are you tied to this movie in any way?
So that was literally going to be my next question. So, so I assume that you'd seen this movie before then.
Oh, I did. I don't remember exactly when I stopped watching DCOMs, but I was older than I'd like to admit. But so this was one of I watched probably around when it came out originally. And I remember watching it and seeing my school and was like, what the heck? This was 2 years after I graduated, but
Okay.
I was like, what the heck? And our colors were this kind of gross green. Well, our colors were green and orange, but the building was this kind of green and gross salmon pink. And the lockers were a similar gross salmon pink. And they, I guess, painted them red and moved them into the atrium because that's not where the lockers actually are.
Wow.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, since we know you've seen this before, at least when it came out, what were your impressions this time around?
Not a great movie. I was just like, I mean, I have vague recollections of being younger and watching it and kind of thinking like, oh yeah, I can sort of relate to this, even though I was probably too old at that point to be relating to it. But now I'm just like, oh my God. And a lot of my notes were probably not the kindest, but it was a fun trip down memory lane. I watched it twice because I don't trust my aging memory.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was fun, but not a great movie.
Fair. Al, what about you? What did you think?
Thanks, Val. I liked this movie, but my downfall of this movie is overacting with a capital OVER space ACTING. The amount of overacting in this movie pulls you out of it, but by the last third, it's just comical at that point, where you're just laughing along with how terribly terrible these extras are acting in the background, things like that. So I didn't mind it. I'm gonna give it a 6. I thought it was fun and fine, and I think that Danielle Panabaker and Brenda Song had really great chemistry as friends together.
They did.
And I think they didn't super overact. I don't know that Taran Killam did either, but there were just a couple people where I was like, oh, baby. Okay. Well, no, I take it back. Taran Killam singing that song at the end was pretty overacting.
Who's the overest actress?
The little brother.
Yes, thank you.
Oh.
Okay.
So my favorite moments, in which I will mention soon, involve the little brother. What? Wow. Val, first impressions.
Oh man. Okay. So I had never seen this one. And I think that the script was good. I think that the relationships were good. I think that what happened in the story for the most part made sense. What I did not like at all, it felt like the director was trying to ruin the movie for me. You know what I mean? I think I actually mentioned this when we talked about Scream Team, which was also was also written by Dan Berenson. So maybe it is a writing thing. I don't know. And actually, Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off had a lot of this too. But it's just felt like it was trying to be a Nickelodeon show. You know what I mean? That sort of edgy, gross, people falling all over the place, a lot of weird sound effects, but unsuccessfully trying to do that because it wasn't actually edgy enough to feel like a Nickelodeon show or movie. It just if they had just played it straight, if they had just taken out all of the ridiculous crap that was in this like, first of all, there were like 45 montages of the same clips over and over again.
So weird.
I actually tried to count the number of outfits displayed in each montage because it represents like days past. Right. In the first one, like 5 minutes before the second montage, it's like 2 whole outfits. So montage of 2 whole days.
Right. I mean, it's just like, it was just so bizarre, and it kept like getting in its own way. And I would love to see a version of this movie where it was just people acting like normal human beings and see what happens. Cause I actually think it would have been a great film with like fun, like stuff happening. Also that final montage, I don't think this is really spoiling anything. I think makes this a love story. And I'm standing by it.
Amazing.
We'll talk more about it when we can spoil it. Okay. Mad.
Yeah.
Did you have any favorite quotes or moments?
Okay, I only have 2 quotes. No, 3 quotes. Okay. My favorite quote was when Brittany very exasperatedly says, "I don't know any whales."
That's my favorite quote. I wrote it in all caps.
Yeah. And then the only other ones I've ever heard of a little thing called teen angst, which I feel like is as cliche as much of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then this really weird quote. I don't remember the context now, but I just have written, "It's back to the basement for the both of you." It's just out of context. Not
Sounds bad.
Okay, nice. Al, what about you?
Thanks, Val. I have so many.
Perfect.
I'm going to just talk about all my thoughts. Okay, my first thought was, this is Naperville, Illinois. And then I found out it was New Orleans. I did have to Google it because I was like, is this Naperville? It is not. The entire movie is about my love for Harry Styles. Brittany to Jordan, me to Harry Styles. It can happen, people. I will meet him.
Yeah, you could be best friends, even though you're 14 and he's 22.
Yeah, we are the same age, so it's a little less spooky. We are currently both 29. I loved the amount of pop culture references mentioned in this, which we do get some, but like Beyonce is mentioned, Madonna, J-Lo, Gwen Stefani, big fan.
And they did a pretty good job of picking timeless references too.
For sure, because all of those people are still relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Literally 3 of those people were at the Grammys this week.
Yep.
Okay, so my favorite quotes were, "I wish my mom would get me something cool like that." And then she looks at her mom like this.
Yeah.
I wish my mom would get me something cool like that. That was so funny. I hated how they put 4 kids in the back seat, but they were all wearing seatbelts. That doesn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure all of them would need to be in a booster seat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda Song was explaining why she's here, and she was like, "I don't know, I was horrible to someone in my past life and my mother was transferred." And then I think it's Eddie says this, and he goes, "Before you were famous," and he like does a head turn. The little brother does a moment, which I hated. For those of you who didn't see me do that, it was grab your ears, open your eyes as wide as they go, and stick your tongue out. I love the line, "I think I hear a banana split calling my name. I'll talk to you tomorrow." I'm going to start using that. And Brenda Song and Brittany Danielle Pennebaker have a back and forth of, does 2, does not, does 2, does not. And it reminded me of Emperor's New Groove when they go, yaha, na-uh, yaha, na-uh, yaha, na-uh. Night, Mom, yaha, na-uh, yaha, na-uh. And I really liked that. And then the last quote was, "Oh, trouble has just arrived in the wings of a tacky minivan."
Yep, I love that.
So fun. Yeah, I didn't rate this movie very high, but I still really had a good time with it.
For you, it was pretty high. 6 is like pretty high for you.
Yeah, anything
You
over
don't hand
5.
out 6s willy-nilly.
That's true. I don't hand out 9s willy-nilly.
No, that's true.
Val, tell us
Mm-hmm.
your favorite quotes and moments.
Yes. Okay. So I definitely loved, I don't know any whales. That was absolutely my favorite line. I also wrote, ever heard of a thing called teen angst? There's a moment where she's wearing like an extreme crop top and she wants to go to school. And she says something like, does this say something? And then her dad goes, more like, please put me in a sweater.
Which she was
funny.
wearing a jacket already.
I know. I mean, it was just like, I thought there was a fun scene, or there were a couple maybe fun scenes where like they were all kind of like chaotically getting out of the house together. And I thought those were fun scenes because it was like so like quick, you know, like they were just all kind of like quick hits, like puns and like jokes and running around. And that was fun. And it was like a great way to kind of introduce us to all those characters really quickly and efficiently. So I liked that. You've got that whole coffee house poetess thing going on.
That felt like such a pickup line.
I know. That's what
Yeah. So to
Love
your
story.
point to touch on later. Yes.
Yes. My dad won't even let me have Spanish rice because he thinks it's too spicy, which is a tribute to my in-laws who literally think like white bread is spicy.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, Linda. She'll be the first to admit it. At one point, Eddie said, for all intensive purposes. And I was like, that is not how you say that.
Curse you, Eddie.
And then this one is made for me. Since when is it stupid to care?
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
Val had an introspective moment.
I found one more.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry for pulling that full-on rock star act on you.
Oh, yeah.
That
And he did.
hit.
Mm-hmm.
Hit hard.
Oh, this one is for you, Al. At one point, Brenda Song goes, oh, I don't do helmets, because she's like about to get on a bike. And then they like force her into still wearing a helmet because Disney is all about bike
Disney
safety.
is all about bike safety, but not car safety because four
No.
kids twice were in the back seat.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
And I think my favorite moment is when these 4 girls do a full-on dance inside of their house in soccer cleats.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Val's
yeah.
carpets are not having it.
No, I mean, obviously those had never been worn before, but
Yeah.
still, I was like, this is bizarre. No one
And
ever
then it
would
turns
wear-
into like a Dawn commercial where they're like, we use Dawn to clean our carpets after my daughter comes in after soccer practice and ruins our carpets.
right. Oh
I
my
didn't
God.
realize they were in cleats, but now when they run up on the sofa and topple it over, that makes it even worse.
That's what I'm saying. And like, I was like, are they wearing cleats? And I was like watching them the whole time. And they are.
Oh no.
And the only other thing I noticed that I wanted to point out was that in the beginning and the end, there's scenes where they like show like a bunch of girls, like basically like a gossip train on cell phones, like sort of appearing in boxes. And it made me think that at least in part, this movie was trying to emulate Bye Bye Birdie a little bit, because I was in Bye Bye Birdie in middle school, and like, it's not the same exact story by any means, but there's this element of like all of these girls kind of like chittering about a like male rock star. And it made me think of that. And I thought maybe they were doing this intentionally.
That's
I don't know.
fun. Do you remember the where all of the girls' faces are popping up when they hear the thing over the phone, but then they just used like boomerangs of the same like 7 girls?
Yep. They couldn't possibly have filmed.
Could
a
not
couple other
possibly
people.
get any of those extras to film.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I thought that was bizarre.
Yeah. Great. Well, does anyone else have anything they want to talk about before we go to Spoiler City?
I'm driving this minivan topless to Spoiler City. You guys, booster seats in the back, also topless.
Also topless. Perfect. All right. Mad, are you gonna take us through Spoiler City today?
I will do my best. This is going to be a very disorganized and haphazard ride.
You know what? If we have to go through a little construction to get to Spoiler City, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we have a road straight there, and that's no fun.
And sometimes there's a detour, and it's great.
I was telling Val before we started, since I said I would attempt to do the synopsis, I love making up song parodies and just, I can't help rhyme. So she told me to say the beginning part. I didn't get to finish because I didn't start soon enough. Story of my life, but I was inspired by Fresh Prince theme song. So I started to say, now this is a story all about how these tween girls' lives got turned upside down. So I'll take a minute to tell you, Han, and talk about how the door went from closed to opened on. And then there's more, but it doesn't track.
That was better than anything I've ever done. And I do this every episode. So that was incredible.
Well, thank you. So let's see. Spoiler City, Brittany and her friends, and I say friends because she ditches them fast. Or Posh Tosh. And no one really seems to care. I was expecting that to be more of the conflict, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So her and her friends are living in a rather mundane, cliched suburban existence. But the only one that seems to care is Brittany. She wants to write songs and be unique, but couldn't be less so. So her and her squad are also obsessed with teen heartthrob Jordan Cahill. And then cue the posh new girl in town, Natasha, who struts in her, it was giving me Clueless vibes with that tie and shirt combo and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And she just seems too cool for suburbia, and Brittany is instantly drawn to her. Friend drawn or more, right, Val?
Mm-hmm.
So Brittany is ready to drop her plebes behind and pretend that she's not completely obsessed with Jordan just to impress Natasha. Then Jordan comes to town and they go to full on it seemed like Beatles level obsession for this tiny nobody that is
Harry
Jordan.
Styles level of obsession.
Thank you for modernizing that for me. I don't think I've ever been that obsessed with anybody. So it's hard for me to relate to. I will admit that I was obsessed with Freddie Prinze Jr. as a kid, but instead of screaming, I printed out pixelated thumbnails, pictures of him, and pasted them on the corner of my diary and wrote every diary entry, Dear Freddie.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I still have it.
That's a book. You need to write a book named Dear Freddie.
And then I was really torn when I wanted to hate Sarah Michelle Gellar, but I love Buffy. So that was a real cognitive dissonance.
And they are one of Hollywood's longest couples.
Yeah.
I know.
They have
and
a beautiful
they're
life.
good.
Mm-hmm.
So I digress. But Jordan comes to town and Brittany obviously really wants to see him, but she wants to impress Natasha. So she pretends to pretend. They go crazy. He sings some cheesy hit. And on their way out, the most farcical of fateful collisions happens. And their phones come a-tumbling down and they pick up the wrong one. Of course, Brittany is concerned that her parents will find out she lost her phone. Overacting brother hides and spies on her and is going to rat her out. Then they discover that it's actually Jordan's phone. They call Madonna. I should have mentioned that as a sticking point with me talking about taking me out of reality. So basically they realize that they have Jordan's phone, and then the world becomes their new oyster. They start tearing down his life and building it back up, cutting his hair, breaking up with his girlfriend, ordering snacks, the wrong snacks, the right snacks. I can't remember which it was. Cue montage of Brittany and Natasha's budding relationship. And then they have a big fight because each one's a liar, right? Natasha's not this posh world traveler that she said she was. And Brittany is not the aloof, not that obsessed Jordan person she pretended to be. So they fight. And then there's another montage of their happy moments. And then they, meanwhile, are trying, Eddie, right? Jordan's assistant is trying to get Jordan's phone back without Jordan finding out, because his whole life is on that phone. Oh my God, everything. I never had a Palm Pilot, so I really can't speak to the accuracy of that. But if it's anything like my iPhone, yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. And there's no cloud. So he keeps like asking Eddie to like back up his phone. Like that's the whole like MacGuffin of this whole thing is like, he keeps asking Eddie, like, back up my phone. My lyrics are on there. All my contacts, everything is on there. And there's no cloud. So that he's like, you need to download this to a disk. And Eddie's like, I don't know how. So he just doesn't. So the girls have the only copy of like every single important thing to this person in their hands. Okay, sorry, continue.
No, that's fine. I also like the little brothers, that it's such a trope about Jordan's so old that his password would only be the factory settings, right? So they gain access to his innermost song lyrics, the real Jordan, right? Meanwhile, mom's trying to save an old house. And then all of these events coalesce at the end while they're manipulating Jordan, they get him to sing at some rally. Everything's a rally nowadays. So sing at a rally to save mom's old house. And Brittany and Natasha make up. And somehow she just seamlessly fits in with Brittany's old plebes that she picks back up. And they do another dance. And they don't. This is how you know life has truly changed. They do not knock over the sofa in the end. All happily pile on top of it. Nothing gets disrupted. And there you have it. I'm sure I missed some things, but
no, that was great. That was great. Yeah,
I think haphazard at all.
No, it wasn't. It was great. A couple things I want to like point out because I thought some of the strong moments, like for example, I liked that the way, so like basically what we kind of find out, which is sort of meant to be a head fake, is like Jordan likes a lot of the changes. Like he is unhappy with his life. And we find that out via like his reactions to them kind of like messing with him via his Palm Pilot. Like when they have his hair cut off, he's actually really excited to have it gone and have like a fresh start. And I liked that. And I thought that Taran Killam was like actually like acting, like because I'm so used to him like being these like humongous characters and like really over the top intentionally on Saturday Night Live. So it was like cool to see him like being earnest in some of these scenes. So I liked that a lot. And it was a nice refreshing change from a lot of the like wackadoodle stuff that was going on.
I was worried at one point with his relationship with Brittany that it was going to turn into like a romantic thing. But like there was one moment where I was like, oh, don't. And then they didn't. And I was happy about that. And so it seemed then very like brother sister, which I was appreciative of, that they went in that direction.
Yes, totally.
Which we're not manifesting for me and Harry Styles. We are manifesting the falling in love. Okay, so that's how the movie differs from
right.
Well, and at the end when she's on the phone in the car, it's like, come to New York and see you, Jordan? I don't know. Yeah. And that just seemed kind of just as silly
weird.
as calling.
Yeah. And then I want to talk about the love story in this movie. I swear to God, at the end, there is a montage, like while Taran Killam is singing his final song with his lyrics that he wanted in the song. And there's a montage. And it is like, if you were to either at that time in 2004, make that a boy and a girl, or if you were to like show the same montage, but like in a movie that came out today, I think everyone would just assume that it was a love story. Like it's very like affectionate and like focusing on like their connection. And the music just kind of like adds this vibe. And I was just like, this is a romance. This is, and I will stand by it forever.
And they have good chemistry. It was working.
They do. Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, so that's my headcanon.
I wanted to also mention that at the very end, throughout the entire movie, Taran Killam is like, I don't really want to do this, even though he was literally at the Grammys like the month before. Like, whew, you're good, and you want to not do this anymore. But then at the very end, when the girls are dancing for the second time, they're dancing in the music video. So they were cast in the music video, but it's no longer Taran Killam. It's now Eddie. And he's like the big pop star, which makes no sense. But I kind of love it.
Yeah. I think it's a commentary on just how
you could just put anyone else in the role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're just Harry Styles is interchangeable. Just kidding.
I'm so mad. I liked you so much until right now. Wow. Now I have a vendetta against you. So
feud.
There's a feud. We were friends. Now we're foes.
No, it's so short-lived. Just kidding. But yeah. Like,
you don't have to be just kidding. It's okay. You can hate him. It's fine. But I will judge you.
I mean, that's the whole point. Like they were making him be something he wasn't. So it's so easy. If someone wants to do that, just stick him in there.
Do it. Like, right.
Yeah.
And cherry and pop stuff.
He was so cute. He had his little ears pierced at the end.
Yes.
It was so funny. Loved it.
Physically, I do not think they are comparable. I think Taran Killam is much cuter than Eddie, at least back then.
In the rock star.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. All right. Anything else anyone wants to talk about before we go to bingo?
I'm GTG.
I have a couple of just very quick notes.
Tell us.
Generally, I thought the parents were exceptionally savvy. Not the first mom. The opening scene mom who couldn't tell one house from another, even though ostensibly she's dropped these kids off multiple times. But Brittany's parents, Brittany's mom, pretty savvy with her smooth coming in with the reverse psychology and the crop top situation. And, I just thought sometimes they play parents to be complete goofs. And goof was on the kids this time, guys. And then just a fun, another local behind the scenes tidbit, that roller coaster in the opening music video and the carousel scenes were shot at City Park. And that roller coaster is called the Ladybug. And you want to guess what the top speed of that beast is?
14.
Close. 40 whole miles an hour.
Oh.
It speeds close to 40 miles per hour. So that was a fun visual from my past as I've ridden that both as a carefree child and as a drunk teenager.
Oh, love that for you.
And I think that's it.
Amazing.
I love that.
I do agree with you about the parents. I really appreciated that they were not like idiots. And they even had their own scene, that one scene where like the mom was really concerned about the house and like no one's going to show up to the event. And the dad was like really kind and like cared about her thing that she had passion for. Like it was actually like a very like modern relationship for
I wrote down he's cool hot dad because he's supportive.
He is. He was so supportive.
I was like, that's hot. Your personality, hot.
So hot. And I thought he was not going to be, because when the very first time we see him, he's like fixing his tie, getting ready to go to work. And I was like, oh no. But it turned out he was great.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I just remembered is there's a lingering shot on Taran when he's singing at the end and he's got on his guitar and his fingers never move. Not one time.
And shout out to the Nokia brick getting some
representation. My first phone.
Wow.
In that same year, I think, too. Or maybe it was 2003, but close. All right. Shall we play some bingo?
We shall.
Please.
I have good vibes going into this one.
Yeah, I feel good, too.
All right. One hit wonder song.
We have an actual listed in history, not me and Val trying to convince you it's a one hit wonder song. One hit wonder song.
All right, Al, what is it?
No, I don't know why I came here tonight. And I know that it's something ain't right. And then we're gonna skip to stuck in the middle of you. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. An actual one hit wonder song. It is on Google. They did not have any other songs.
Excellent. We did it. We did it finally.
And there are other such artists on the soundtrack that I have to point out, such as Haley Duff, sister of Hillary, Stacey Orico, who sings "There's Gotta Be More to Life Than Chasing Down Every Temporary High." Then we have Jesse McCartney of Dream Street fame. But wait, there is another solo artist from Dream Street, Greg Raposo. How does this happen that on one album, two former members of Dream Street are featured?
I couldn't tell you.
One of my mysteries.
Amazing. I loved that. I loved discovering that. And as Matt has mentioned, this whole soundtrack was like the first like legit soundtrack of a DCOM.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned earlier, there's a number of songs by Jordan Cahill that are actually Taran Killam.
Thinking of you, Jordan.
And all of these songs are in our D-commentary soundtrack on Spotify. If you'd like to listen to them. Al, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. Breaking the fourth wall or looking into the camera. Yeah. During those music videos.
Yep. And also, this reminded me, all of a sudden in the middle of this movie, there was a narrator.
Oh, that made no sense. Thank you for mentioning that. That made no sense.
It made no sense. And I knew you were going to get so mad about it.
I blocked it out of my brain until you brought it right back. I hated that.
Yeah, I was so confused why that existed. Because it happened like once or maybe twice. And
it's
then
like reading a book and then the tense just changes. You're like, what is happening?
Yeah, it was so bizarre. Weird. All right. Holiday themed. No.
Too bad it wasn't Mardi Gras themed.
Oh. I know. That's been fun. Clunky metaphor. Yeah. Plunked you right over the head.
Stay true to yourself.
That open door, man.
Parents who just don't get it.
No.
Not this movie. Those parents get it.
They get it. Cool non-parent adult. I'm counting Jordan Cahill.
Oh, Taran Killam was 24 when this movie
aired. And even if you go by the age of his character, he was born in 1982. They say so.
Oh, did they?
At the time, yeah, so he was 22. His character was 22 in the movie.
So that is a fully formed adult.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fully formed?
Ish. 25 is when you stop
25
forming.
is when your brain's cooked. Then it's all downhill from there.
Someone too famous for a TV movie? I think the fame happened after this.
Yeah, I think the fame happened after for all of them.
Yeah.
Even Brenda's song, she kind of hit, I think, a couple years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Competition to resolve central problem.
No.
A
montage sequence. Color in the square.
Yep.
So many.
A montage of the images we have just seen.
Right.
Yep.
Like it was like they ran out of stuff to do. So they just like made montages out of the stuff they already had.
Yep.
And there was also a weird one, like memory in black and white, but other stuff that was in the past that wasn't in black and white.
So random.
So weird. I mean, the montages were so short. I'm surprised they didn't have clips from the beginning of the montage towards the end of the montage.
Yeah, we're just gonna have a montage in a montage in a montage in a montage,
like an Inception montage.
Oh my god!
So yeah, check that one. Oh, cliche villains. I mean, there wasn't a strong villain. He was very cliched for what he was, but I don't know.
I think that the director guy.
Yeah, the producer.
Yeah,
He's very cliche. He's like, I'll pay for whatever. I'll fix it with money. I just want what I want. Totally cliche and villainous.
Clothes or items you owned.
Oh boy. Her three friends, not so much her or Natasha, but her three friends, their aesthetic was like my aesthetic.
Oh my gosh.
In like middle and like early high school. Like the bell bottoms that go past your shoes, the like belts that are like over your shirt and like not functional. They're just sort of like hanging. I have a picture. I'm going to try and find it and put it on our Instagram. Trucker hats.
I wrote down trucker hat. I had a trucker hat. I still currently have a trucker hat.
She also had a drawstring backpack, which I absolutely had. Basically everything that anyone wore. And not to mention the fact that I played soccer and our uniforms were almost exactly that color.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Rotten Tomatoes, 40 to 60. So, Matt, you and I will both guess. And Al knows. So if we are within 5 percentage points, we get to feel smart. And if it's between 40 to 60%, we will get the square. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with 34%.
Wow. I think that because this one has music and like people might be nostalgic for it for a number of reasons, I'm going to guess 52.
Well, the good news is there is no good news. You're both wrong and we don't get the point. It was 63.
Wow.
Yeah, 63.
Dang.
Okay. Happily Ever After.
Oh, yeah.
They rode off into the sunset on her bike.
They sure did.
With helmets on.
With helmets on.
Almost Kissing.
No, only in
to
my
Val's dismay of this love story.
Only in my head canon. Someone who became famous. So many
people in this movie.
Yeah.
Betraying of one's real friends or values. Real hard. Yes.
Like the entire movie.
Yeah.
Almost instantly she betrays her real friends.
Yep.
Sorry.
I think it's you, Al.
Your childhood crush. I saw this movie and did have a crush on Taran Killam.
Perfect. We get it.
Like 100 P.
I definitely had a crush on him in retrospect because pretty eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously bad special effects or stunts.
Yes.
Stupid.
Anytime like she was getting on or off the bike, it was like, oh girl, you should have practiced this a couple more times.
It was also just, they like intentionally did stuff badly. Like when they fall off the fence when they're like trying to run into the neighbor's backyard.
Thank you so much for mentioning that. I'm going to completely cut you off because it was one of my notes that I didn't mention. In that moment, it has been decided that my least favorite sound effect of all time is when people jump over something, they fall somewhere, and a cat noise is played.
Yep.
That is my least
yell.
Favorite sound effect. It's been decided.
Yep. It's stupid. It's dumb. And like that moment, right. That moment, like perfect. And like stuff like flies up as if they like landed on a trampoline and like leaves flew everywhere. Like that perfectly illustrates my problem with this movie. Like I would have loved this movie if they just eliminated that kind of approach to it completely. But I did find it funny how they get held up, which it was also, I felt like this movie was like alluding to other movies a lot. And like this moment felt very much like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he like gets stopped, like, or he stops because he wants to ask out that girl or whatever. But like either way, the mom asking her to babysit was very funny. Like I liked that moment.
It was silly.
Oh, very silly.
Okay, Eric Von Detten, sadly no.
Oh,
here.
you've got an old one.
Yeah, I use an old one too. We've changed the square to be Disney Channel star. Yeah.
Yes, no. I mean, some of them I would argue became Disney Channel stars, but
Brenda Song is a Disney Channel star for sure.
Yeah, I would say Brenda counts for sure. I think we counted her last time too.
Yeah. Musical number. Val and I did the same noise.
Is it because I knew you were going to do it?
Yeah, probably. Oh,
Maybe.
so we have a couple musical numbers in this one. It's so great.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great.
Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful. Magic. Sadly, no.
No.
oh well. Someone says the title of the movie. Do they verbatim?
I don't think so, actually.
I didn't hear it.
They certainly allude to it.
Yeah.
And they say like she's complaining about her suburban life, but
Right.
I don't know if I remember actually stuck in the suburbs.
No, I don't think so either. Wow.
Wow. Scooby Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they figure out the phone and the stuff.
Yep. Kids making stuff happen.
Kids making the stuff happen.
The heroes create the problem. Kind of.
Yeah, because they could have just like figured out a way to get the phone back.
Right. They could have just left it at the hotel front desk.
Yeah.
And then the movie would have been over in 10 minutes.
Lead is a fish out of water. No, she's the fish in the water, right?
Yeah, I don't feel fish out of water.
No,
here.
the only one is like Brenda's song, maybe.
But
she's
But I don't think so.
She kind of like overcomes the fish out of water by doing her thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Al?
Palorinos.
Was your optimism warranted?
It was warranted mildly. We got one.
Okay.
I think we
One?
marked a couple boxes today that we don't get to typically mark, but they didn't add all up. They didn't add up all in the right place. But we did get one. We have our fourth row down. So betraying of one's real friends or values, your childhood crush, obviously bad special effects and stunts, our Disney Channel star square, and musical number. So once again, musical number saving the day.
Mm-hmm.
Every
and betraying one's real friends or values.
Yeah.
We don't get
So
that one
let's
very
hear a
often.
song about you being bad to your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. We did it.
We did it.
Yeah.
All right. Who's ready for a game?
Me.
Yay. All right. In this game, you get to work together, and it's called Suburban Surprise. I'm going to give you the name of a suburb.
Okay.
And the state, because it's very hard to just give me, but you have to name the city that this suburb surrounds.
Okay. Got it.
So I'm going to give you the name of a city. It's kind of I found some fun names.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the state that it's in, and you have to tell me the city that this suburb surrounds.
Okay. Is the first one Schaumburg?
It is not on here, but thank you for mentioning Schaumburg in my life. I didn't put it on here on purpose because I probably talked about it too much anyway. Mad, that's where I'm from. My only caveat is if you are listening to this and you hear me say one of these suburbs and you go, that's not a suburb of my town that I live in, this city, I don't care. I Googled it and this is my game and I can do what I want. Okay, here we go. Our first suburb is Opelika and the state is Florida.
Wait,
Oh, you should know this, Val.
it's either Jacksonville or Tampa, I want to say.
Tallahassee.
With the accent.
Tallahassee. I'm just gonna guess Jacksonville.
That would be my guess too.
Incorrect, Miami.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, maybe there's a different similarly sounding town, because there's a town where my parents, like, that's right in between like Orlando and Jacksonville, that my parents would like meet people to have lunch, and there's like a train museum there, and I swear it was that, but it must be something that sounds like that.
Nice. All right,
Anyway.
Here we go. Number 2 is Egypt, and your state is Tennessee.
Any thoughts?
I'm gonna go with it's a 50-50, Nashville or
Knoxville.
Memphis.
Oh, Memphis, right?
Well, or Knoxville. Oh, this is a hard game.
That's
It
why I
is.
gave you the state, because there's no way you would have been able to do this without the state.
No, yeah, of course.
Egypt.
Naturally. I say, here, you pick between Knoxville or Nashville.
Between Knoxville or Nashville? Nashville.
It was Memphis.
No! You were right. Oh, no.
All right, here we go. We got a fun one, but a hard one.
Okay, so the others weren't hard?
Nope, those were easy.
Okay.
Strawberry, California.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can you break it up by like northern, central, and southern?
Let me look up a...
Throw a dog a bone.
I'm going to guess it's northern, right? Because like, well, I don't know. Where do they grow strawberries?
Oh, actually, yeah. I mean, I should be familiar with southern. They grow strawberries in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. I don't know where they grow them in California.
If you were to cut California in half, it would be the top half.
Okay.
It would have been more fun if you said.
If you were to cut it in half, it would be the ocean side. Well, there, I just narrowed it down for you.
I know, top left corner.
So San Francisco? I don't know.
Francisco, yeah, because there aren't really that many cities that.
Okay, Sacramento erasure, but it was San Francisco.
That's on the other side.
I don't know.
Oh.
I Googled all of this. All right. Our next one is Little Town, Arizona.
I was worried you were going to say Boston, but okay.
Okay, so obviously we have Phoenix.
Scottsdale.
Sorry?
Scottsdale and Tucson.
Scottsdale, Tucson. Yeah, or Flagstaff, I guess, but is Flagstaff a city? I don't know.
Little people waking up to
All right, you pick between Scottsdale and Phoenix.
Scottsdale.
It was Tucson. No. I'm never this mean in games, but I don't care.
It's fine. We get to fail together, so it's like
Yeah.
less harsh.
It's not like you're paired against one another, you know?
Right.
It's our beginning improv days.
Yeah. Yes, and all right, we've got our last one in honor of Saint Valentine's Day next week, which is actually it'll be and Valentine. It'll be last week by the time you listen to this. Loveland, Ohio.
Cleveland or Cincinnati, right?
Or
Columbus. All these empty states that have all these cities.
That's why I did this on purpose.
So my grandparents are from Cleveland, so my vote's Cleveland.
Okay, I go with your vote. It's your podcast. Your
We're
vote.
wrong. Look at her face.
It was
Can this
Cincinnati.
be like, wait, don't tell me where we judge a reaction and then change our answer at the
Yeah,
last
you're
minute?
like, it was Cincinnati.
Damn it.
Hey, you got one right. You got strawberry right.
Great.
You used to
Oh,
phone
yeah.
a friend, aka the person who created the game, but you still got strawberry. Thanks for playing Suburban Surprise.
What a surprise.
Wow, thanks for playing. Hey, it wasn't how many you got, but the friendship.
You guys-
That's the friendship.
Friendship.
This was great. Mad, thank you so much
Yep.
for being here. You've been a wonderful guest. We appreciate you so much.
We do. You are an expert. We don't have anyone who has this kind of correlation to a DCOM. I guess besides Stu Krieger, but
Yeah,
we
that's
appreciate you.
true. Well, folks, next week we are watching Tiger Cruise.
Hayden Panettiere.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think I've seen it.
So, do your homework, watch the movie. And as always, do your other homework, which is
Listen to the podcast.
Review the podcast, and follow us on Instagram because Al is on a mission.
I'm really trying, guys. Just tell one friend.
Yeah. Share our posts on your story or something, and maybe someone will follow us that way.
Yeah, please.
We'd really appreciate it.
really appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mad.
Thanks, guys. This is fun.
Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. Bye, Mad.
Bye, Val and Al.
This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/dcommentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at dcommentaries.
Dcommentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.